You go along the lines of the art of storytelling, then it takes it off of you. But when we that young, we nah.
Everything gotta go in order. The second verse can't be the first verse. The third verse can't be the second verse.
It's gotta
Everything,
flow.
absolutely. And I gotta pick up where I left off at. But this is the key thing. The key thing is
Truth in the air, let it speak.
I'm wonderful. I am wonderful, man. Thank you for asking. Okay. Yeah.
Well, listen, it's been a minute
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
from the initial contact point,
Right.
and I just want to say I appreciate you being here, man.
I appreciate you having me.
All the way from Philly.
Yes, Lord.
Philly, man. How you doing? How was the ride and everything coming down here?
Oh, it was an amazing ride. It was a lot of sightseeing. I think we stopped probably like 20 times. You know, to sightsee, get some pictures and videos. But the ride was amazing, man.
Word.
It was
word.
amazing. We had fun doing the ride.
I mean, if the ride ain't fun,
Yeah.
you know, something ain't right. You riding with the wrong people. But I done met the people you riding with, and y'all seem like I had a good time riding out here, man. So that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
So listen, welcome to Creative Roots Podcast. We have a very special guest all the way from Philly. I think you're the first, maybe the second person from out of town. So that says a lot. We have L Crock, and I'm going to read his bio because this is a lot, and I'm going to try to sum this up. Born in Chester what?
Pennsylvania.
Born in Chester, PA, raised in Philly, he's a gifted storyteller whose lyrics paint vivid pictures of struggle, growth, and triumph. Inspired by East Coast legends like Jada Kiss and Nas, L Crock delivers motivational bars that hit the soul and spark the mind. With powerful projects like Black Queens and Black Ownership, he's on a mission to uplift and empower through music. And I checked out some of the tracks, and I've been riding with Beautiful for a minute.
Yeah.
And Built Different.
Okay.
If y'all have not heard them two tracks, start there and then go through the rest of it. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. But man, listen, Creative Roots, man. We are here to talk about how you got your start in the entertainment or into music or being a creative in general.
Okay.
So the first question is, what got you started? Like, what seed was planted for you to know that this is something that you wanted to do?
To be honest, my pop, going as far back at 9 years old, like in 99, my dad, because he used to rap, but he did it for fun. But he used to write little rhymes for me, rap to me. And he wrote like a rap specifically for me at 9 years old. And I enjoyed it. I liked it. So that was like the spark right there. That like the little at night, but it ain't, the flame ain't set yet. Carrying on like to when I became a teenager, and I actually wrote my first rhyme. I kind of got addicted, but then I wasn't, you young, so it was like I wanted to talk about the stuff around me because I see it, and some of the bad things I was representing as well. So it started from there, rapping. At that time, though, when I was a teenager, I just wanted to be like, the neighborhood knew who I am. I didn't have in my mind like I wanted to take it as far as being famous with it.
Right.
So, it still was kind of like, all right, I'm playing around with it. Since I'm good at it, I could play around with it, have a good time. The real spark that ignited the flame happened, I want to say like 3 years ago, to where as though I said, because I was, after the teenage years, I was rapping and stopping, writing and stopping. A few years back, that's when the flame sparked. Like, hold up, I'm this talented and gifted, because I'm not just
I need to use it.
Let me utilize this. Then it's perfect timing because now I'm matured, I elevated. I got a family now, so it was perfect timing. And I'm for my people.
Yep.
So I started a few years back. I want to say in 2003, and everything was just like rush. I'm like, man, I'm gonna get in this to win this. I'm gonna utilize this talent and let it take me to as far as it does. And wrote a quick album, put together a quick album. Everything was fast, quick. I want to say after I dropped Black Ownership, because the album that I'm dropping now, I'm re-releasing it because it wasn't done correctly.
That makes sense, like the mixing and mastering.
It wasn't the mix, the mastering. It was more sort of business side of things, like the way it was promoted, marketed, things in that nature.
Back office stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So
yeah,
and I'm gonna dive deeper into that. But
word
with the I did the Black Ownership album, and I said, with me coming in, because I didn't even know I had that in me. I knew I had a lot to talk about, but to put it in a perspective, the words though, it's a rhythm, it's a rhyme behind it. I didn't know I had that in me, so I kind of shocked myself. Like, yo, I can talk about this, and this is the type time I want to be on since I'm mature. And what I'm talking about is, like that inspiration and motivation that people can use through music.
Yeah.
So something else shined on me to where as though my talent, not only was I talented at writing rhymes, but it helped me identify my image.
That makes sense.
And,
I don't think people caught what you just said, but we're gonna keep going.
Absolutely. So once that image got identified, now I'm really taking all the talent that I have to the next level, because now I want to know the business part of music.
Yeah, you need to know the business part, at least enough as an artist, because not enough artists know what it takes. A lot of artists just want to be on stage. They just want to have that dopamine rush from the crowd. They don't want to take the time to figure out, what does this mean in this contract? 50 pages, I ain't reading it. I'm just going to sign it because they say they're going to give me $500,000 or $1 million up front, and they don't understand what that contract really said. Yeah. Like, I'm going to say this, and I'm pretty sure you know too, but listen, if you are an artist and you get approached with that deal, take it to a lawyer. If they rushing you to sign it, some ain't right.
9 times out of 10, it's not healthy. Right. It's not a healthy contract. Yes, sir.
Some ain't right.
Yes, sir.
So you said at the age of 9. Now, I know you don't know, but so far on the show, there have been things with everybody that's been on the show that happens between 8 and 9. Mm-hmm. And another thing that I know you didn't know, because we didn't discuss it, 13, 14, 15, something else has happened with everybody else that's been on here so far as well.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Because that's when you said, let me write my first rhyme. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, I was 12. So it's close. I was 12 when I wrote my first rap.
Yeah. Then so, go ahead.
13, 14. Yeah, see, I was a little active then, like with being outside, doing things I shouldn't be doing. So that was like, I can do this. I can talk about that. You know what I mean?
I done it.
Yeah, exactly.
I ain't lying.
But it was more so then, like as a teenager, it was more so like I seen more than I've done. So it was like, I can talk about them. You know what I mean? I can say it's me, I in the rap, but I'm really talking about them. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that, even now looking back at that, I'm like, no, that wasn't all right. That wasn't cool. You know what I mean? When you mentioning you, it's at least have some sort of experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, when you say I did this, I did that, some people going to be looking for you to do what you said you did. Exactly. Now, you take the approach of storytelling. Mm-hmm. You go along the lines of the art of storytelling, then it takes it off of you. But when we that young, we
we're not thinking that far ahead. We just we on a time being. We just on a time being. That's now. All. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So let me ask this question. The two that you picked, these legends, was Jada and Nas. Yeah. Bruh. Yeah. Just speak to that, because I know this newer generation may not know exactly what we know, from Illmatic.
Absolutely.
With Nas or The Locks.
Right.
Post Diddy. Mm-hmm. So what was it that they said or did, or their style? Like, what was it that drew you to them?
I'm gonna start off with Jada Kiss. One thing that attracted me with Jada Kiss was not only his style of rapping, but the consistency of it. Like
Yes.
he have never not stayed himself. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Even on like commercial records, like things that he did for radio or, for a different genre or females, he always stayed Kiss. So that's one thing I saluted with him. And Nas helped me pace myself with the storytelling because I actually always used to read those dudes' lyrics, man. Jada Kiss, Nas. I used to read DMX lyrics because DMX was like a movie to me when I was a kid. Because his whole character was just like, yo,
and that's how he was,
and that was him.
Time.
That was him. So, those dudes act like I was actually happy that I was able to put a little Nas and Jada Kiss into what I wanted to do. And then I just made it my own, style. So
yeah, because the cadence is there.
The metaphors with Kiss. One of the real good things that I really love about Kiss is the way he ad-lib, like the way he can talk on his records, put those words behind them lines and just be matching up so vividly, so perfect. Then you got
lyricist.
He's a lyricist. He's a super lyricist. And a lot of people don't know, man. This dude was, just because he was rapping, he was really in the streets for real, that dude never been into any trouble.
Nah.
Never, bro. Never. Nah. So here we is. We talking about a cat that can be in representation of the street life that was really in it, but had that much common sense to not get caught. That's how smart he was. And he put that into his rap. He showed how creative he was lyrically to not, I don't even think he ever mentioned that. I did X, Y, Z, never went to jail. You know what I mean? But you can make those kind of records that there's some people that's incarcerated, that'll be like, oh no, I can relate to that. Yeah. So that's what it is. It's the relative message that can be behind the artist, because you want to be able to be relatable to everybody. Everybody.
Yeah. With Kiss, it's like you said, it doesn't matter where you from. Kiss got a song for everybody.
True story. Yep.
And you just play the whole album.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You just
let it play.
Right. Because I was a big
excuse me,
Styles P fan.
Yeah, that boy got me in trouble. I wanted to do, after listening, because I'm a Locks fan. I've been a Locks fan since late 99, 2000.
Yeah.
And because my dad always played the Locks. And man, when I start listening to Styles P on my own, because at first it was, I can listen to that with my pop. But when I start putting the Locks on by myself, oh my Lord.
That's one group that'll definitely encompass a lot from the street. And I don't think any of them ever been in trouble. Not in the
not something serious. Yeah, not too serious.
Yeah, nothing like
that.
They
had their share of, bumping into the authorities, getting it. Well, it wasn't never.
I
not too
think that's
severe.
all of them though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So with Nas though, Illmatic top 5.
That's definitely top 5.
Okay,
that's definitely top. Yeah, that's definitely top 5. And I had to listen to. Once I got older, that's when I had to listen to that album to fully understand it. Because like I listened to that album when it came out, and when that album come out, was 94 or 5. I was like 6, 7 years old listening. I stole my dad Illmatic CD. I mean cassette. I stole it. And I'm like, where can I play it at? Well, my brother let me. I'm like, why'd I take it? Like, I can't play it nowhere. I got to borrow my mom and dad, stereo system to listen to.
You're going to take it to school. Look what I got. Look what I got.
And I thought about that, but I did. So, my brother was, he was in the basketball real heavy, or damn near all my life. So I was able to, I'm creeping there, keep it low.
Real quick. Man.
Yeah, but my pop eventually let me listen to it all the time once I got older. And I can't remember how old I was, but I was still a youngin'. I was still a pup. And I didn't understand it then.
You heard it.
I just heard it. I'm like,
you wasn't listening.
Yeah. I wasn't really listening to it. Once I was able to get older, matured a little bit, my teenage years, when I started writing, that's when I went back. Let me listen to this Illmatic joint.
Yeah, man, you got to
And
because sometimes understanding what they spoke about
yeah, they story.
and finding, like you said, that relatable moment
Mm-hmm.
that can bring certain things, full circle for you. Like, okay, so it's not just me. Like you knew that,
Mm-hmm.
but when you get a little older, it's like, yo,
Facts,
this been going on
yeah.
for a minute.
Yeah, hell
And
yeah.
and it's not just New York, it's not just Philly,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just LA.
Right, right.
Every major city got a hood in it somewhere.
Exactly.
And I think that's the thing that makes a lot of what they do and did relatable, even now. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
Because we're older.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of us are not still doing that.
Exactly,
You
exactly.
know, so it's like we grew up together.
Yep.
Those are your unseen fathers. You
There
know
it
what I'm
is.
saying?
There it is. Yep.
Because hip hop is a beast.
Heck yeah. Heck
You have
yeah.
to understand it in order to be in it.
That part. That part.
But yeah,
The
man.
guy, that's the real importance to me is like it has to make sense. Cause
Yeah.
then, like in the '90s, people made music to not only make sense, but you get something out of it. Not just I can just put anything together. They dance to it. You know what I mean? They dance to it, or they like the beat. You know.
Yeah, because
Then the
nowadays
lyrics matter, man.
that's kind of what it is nowadays, man.
Yeah,
I'm
yes,
like, I don't know what that dance is. I can't even halfway imitate it because it look like it's gonna hurt.
man.
But I'm gonna
Tell me
leave it
about
alone. I'm gonna
it.
leave it
Tell me.
alone. So I got a question because I
Okay.
know this wasn't something that we talked about before either.
Okay.
Where you get the name L Crock from?
It was actually passed down. I'm a junior, so my
Okay,
biological name is named after my dad, and the name was just passed down since everybody was like calling me Lil Craig. I'm like, well, I'll just be Lil Crock too, you know what I mean? And at of course, when I was younger, it was the Lil Crock, but when I got older, I'm like, oh, we're gonna take the
we're
little
gonna drop
off
that
and
off because I
just
ain't little no more.
and
I ain't
just
little
keep
no
the
more.
L, yeah, right. Because I'm like, damn, I got boys, so once I had my son, I'm like, oh, that's Lil Crock.
Right. Okay. I figured that,
Yeah, yeah,
but I ain't want to assume.
yeah, yep,
Because it's bad to assume some
right.
stuff, real bad.
No, but
So,
it's funny. If you, I don't know if you want to know like where the actual name came from, how Pop got it.
hey man, this your spot. Listen, if you feel like somebody about to get in trouble,
Man,
then leave it alone.
Pop gonna crack up about this. So he got into some trouble. I don't know what the exact story was. Or how, oh, he actually, I think he broke a crock pot of my grandmom's, and she caught him on a corner and like beat him with parts of it or a new one. I'm not sure exactly if it was I broke the crock pot or he got in trouble and she just grabbed the first thing she can get. But yep, ever since that happened, at first people was calling him Crocodile because it was like she embarrassed him in front of all his friends. He was on the corner. He said she pulled up on him, hopped out the car, and
Grandma
took a crock
beast.
pot to his ass. So everybody was calling him with these different names around the crock pot, and I guess Croc just stood out, so he just stuck with that. Yeah,
If that's what they gonna call me, I'm gonna
that's what
take
they
it. I'm
gonna
gonna
call
accept
me,
this
right?
name. I mean, it makes sense though, but dang, grandma, the crock pot though.
She didn't play. That woman, she had a stick called Mr. Dooms. That was for the grandchildren. Yeah, it wasn't no switches with her. You know what I mean?
Nah,
Switches or go get a branch off the tree. Nah,
yeah, we had to go get them.
yeah.
And then my grandma be like, "This ain't big enough.
Right.
This ain't long enough."
Go get a longer one.
The next thing you know, that thing got braided down, boy. My grandma used to have the one that was about that long. She just reaching AT&T. What was it? Bell South ain't the only one they can reach out and touch or something like that. Bruh,
Look,
that
she
was
had freaking slings for you.
yes, she did.
Oh man,
Yes, she did, man. So high school, you still dabbing a little bit into the music.
Yeah.
What?
High school. Go ahead. Let me
Go
finish.
ahead.
High school, I was a little. I think I was a lot more active in high school because I had a lot of talent around me. You know what I mean. There was a lot of people because I went to Germantown High. I didn't finish, but I started my high school years out at Germantown High, and it was a lot of talent in that Germantown area, and that around that time. That's when I actually start witnessing like live battle raps and people actually being in the lunchroom, making the beats on the table, having the cipher sessions in the lunchroom. That kept me active because I was always around it. But it still wasn't like a big enough push for me to say, yo, let me take that serious. You know what I mean? I'm talking about it used to be dudes walking around with like them voice recorders.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we'd meet up in this park. I forgot the Tone. What's the name of that park in on Germantown and Shelton? Vernon Park. Everybody from Germantown High School circle up and Vernon Park, and people had their voice recorders on, recording the ciphers. Sometimes it'll turn into battles. And man,
Yeah, when it turned into a battle, that take it to a completely different level.
Yeah.
Because your word choice change up real quick.
Yep.
Because ain't nobody trying to get punked in no freestyle
Right.
battle, bro. Nobody. You got to come back here tomorrow.
You ain't lying. Man, wow. Thinking like reminiscing on it now, thinking about it now, and I'm like, yo, we all really sounded alike, just in a different way. Like, because we all was saying the same stuff, just in a different way. I got an 8K, like, I'll make you look like. I'll tell you something.
The similes.
Yeah.
Nobody was really using metaphors.
There you go.
Drop a metaphor in a freestyle battle, you have got to be on top of your game. Because anybody can use like an ass to compare something.
Mm-hmm.
But a metaphor, bruh,
it's different.
Definitely. So I know you just released this single on May 2nd.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about that. And I want to pedal back to something, but I'm remembering the single came out last month. So
yeah.
So how's that?
That actually is wonderful, man. What we decided to do with this single, we decided to come here. We chose North Carolina, great history on the Carolinas, and what was big with me is the connection with fans, like fans that we have now, existing fans now, new fans. We want to have that connection with them. So our like presentation is key. You know what I mean? Like, all right, well, we know that they got the streaming services and all these different types of words. Though you can be invisible, but we want to be visible. So we chose to let's start from down south and work our way up. And this song means that much to me. Like, this is one of my favorite songs on the album because it's a reality. Because the truth, like the title is the song. Is exactly what the song is. And sometimes we don't want to hear the truth.
So for the people that don't know, what's the name of this song?
It's called Truth. Truth. Yep.
You hear that? That's the name of the song.
It's called Truth. And that's and that's the concept of the song. The title is what the song is. You making it too worse. Don't tell me what I want to hear. Give me the truth, yo. Stop lying to me. It's exactly that. I'm talking about every verse matches the title of the song all the way through.
So you put some work in on that one.
Oh yeah. The hook came to me right away. And you shout out to Boger. Boger made that beat. It did something to me because like when I'm a storyteller, so when something hit me and I gotta think about what I'm gonna put to it, that's the one. Because usually stuff will just come to me out, right?
Yeah. When you have that instrumental that say
no, you gotta put some work in.
Listen, y'all got to go. I need to sit with this for about 15, 20 minutes.
Exactly.
You start pacing in the room. Mm-hmm. You get your cadence and your flow together. And then
right.
No, I don't like that. I don't like that. And then you go back and it's like you walk out that room. I got it. Yep. You go and record it. Yeah. And everybody sit there and they be like, that's the one.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I like them other ones. But that's the one.
I had to voice record myself on my phone with saying the hook because I had to keep listening to the hook over and over and over because I like everything to match. I don't like to be all over the place with my stories. I like everything to match. So if I'm doing the whole song, everything got to go in order. The second verse can't be the first verse. The third verse can't be the second verse. Everything
got to flow.
Absolutely. And I got to pick up where I left off at. But this is the key thing. The key thing is how are you going to present it? Because I don't want every verse to sound the same. I wanted to, I wanted to say a different thing, but I wanted to sound different as well. So that's a blessing that I have too. So whereas though I can kind of switch the rhythm of my flow up, you know what I mean. I can sometimes I like overstretch metaphors, but like I'm so gifted with that. I play around with it. Like I can have 1, 2, 3 bars, but the fourth one lined up with the first one. You know what I mean? But the second and third bar is something a complete different sentence. So it's a blessing to have that kind of gift.
You have that flow, but let me remind you about something. And then that second set of 4 bars is probably gonna repeat the same thing, and then that 8 bar gonna go back to the first 4.
You hit that on the nose. You hit it right on the nose, and that's how that. And I only write like that sometimes. Like I don't always write like that. So that's when
because you don't want to get stuck sounding the same.
Yeah, right, exactly. And with me, I'm like I be so hard on myself. Like I don't want to be on this song for 2 days. You know what I mean? I don't want to be on this song for but I'm easing up though. I'm easing up on myself with that. I'm getting better with it. But I was horrible at first, man.
I mean, if it take 2 days though, bro, take them 2 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that means you don't want to just throw something out.
Right.
Like I've sat with a song. I write the first verse.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll be back.
Yeah.
I might forget about it.
Yep.
I hear something and I'm like, yo, that's a bar.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing I know, I can finish that second verse. And at that point, maybe the third verse. And then you put it all together.
Thanks.
All right, let me go. I got the hook. I got the hook.
Yeah.
And it's a different space to be in when you take your time instead of, man, I got to get this out there because I know it's going to be dope. Well, slow it down, Grasshopper.
Right.
Slow it down because you're going to put that out and you the only person that's going to be hyped to it.
Right, exactly.
So
I got a lot of that. Excuse me, like some of my old ways, but be still there because like now before it was the pen and pad days, now it's the phone. So when I was on the pen and pad, I'm not moving until I don't care if I'm 24 hours in, I don't care how long it take. I am finishing this rap today. So that kind of like kick into now, because now I'll be on the phone with it, putting it in my notes. I'll be like, no, I gotta complete this. But no, I'm getting better now because, like you said, I start doing that. Let me just chill, do something else, and get back to it. You ain't going nowhere.
When I used to write in my notebook, pen and pad, I wrote with a pen. When it's a pen,
I scribble.
I ain't trying to have no scribbles.
No mistakes.
I ain't trying to mark through nothing. This next bar gotta make sense.
Yep.
And that was one of the reasons why it used to take me so long. But like you said, when you're on your phone, it's like, yo, I know exactly how I'm going to end this. I know how I'm going to end it. Let me go ahead and write these 4 bars. Now, how am I going to get to them 4 bars?
Right.
I got my second 8.
Yeah.
So I got my last 2 of the stanza. I got to figure out these other 8 bars. And you got to be able to make it make sense. Like you said, you got to tell that story.
And it's ironic that you said that because sometimes I would say, I'll start writing as if it's like the beginning, like the first or second bar. And then sometimes if I add more to that, I'll be like, nah, this can go after that. Or I'm going to just keep this all the way at the bottom at the end until I come up with more stuff. Like, yo, so like, man, the creativity, it just keep enhancing. You know what I mean? Because I always want to do something different and be creative.
You get to the point where you're writing the track and you're like, bruh, and you got to turn a page and you got to start that next track because you done got something else.
Bruh, yo, every time that I'm writing to up-tempo beats, I got to do that all the time. I actually, sometimes I will take what I wrote and put them in my random bar folder. I add more or even finish it and be like, nah, I want to go back to that and, add them to it. But I always go to my random bar folder first because there's so many different pieces in there. You know what I mean? And
I don't think a lot of people understand what you just said.
Yeah.
I don't. As an artist, as a lyricist, there's literally a page in my phone and it just says bars.
Yeah.
And I might have 2, I might have 4, I might only have ... and then the ending of a bar. I don't think people do that too much no more, man.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. So because and what I really like about doing that, especially like recording wise, because now I can record myself, so I say it and don't really like the energy or what I said, but I
yeah,
still keep it.
yeah,
And I go back to it and do that same thing again, and it'd be tremendous. It'd be phenomenal. I love it. So that's important. I even jot down like what I feel at the moment talking wise. I write the talking down and I put it in, random talk.
and you
Ad
probably
libs
write
and
it
all
in a
that.
different quote unquote font. So
Absolutely.
you got your regular bar, how you normally write, but
Mhm.
then when you talk, you kind of turn it to the side, and it'd be like written italicized or something like that.
Exactly. Yep. If
We're
I'm
on the
if I'm
same
if I'm
page
screaming,
then.
if I'm hype, all of it'll be
All
capital.
caps.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes.
I know when and when I want to pause, I put the periods.
Yep.
Like I want to say this, but I want to pause in between so I know when to come on with the next bar. Yeah,
You put a comma so you know where to take your breath.
exactly. Yeah,
You put a slash so you know that's the end of the
that's
bar.
the end of it.
That's
Yeah.
the end of it.
That's how I mark all the bars too. I was doing 1, 2, but nope, I hit it with a slash now.
We giving y'all free game of how to write,
Yeah,
y'all.
yo, this is game though. This is.
Like, because people can't do that. A lot of people
Right.
can't do that. They just sit down, they spit. Bruh, you're not even on beat.
Yeah, how about that?
We're not even gonna give no comparisons, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure everybody know what we talking about
Yeah.
and thinking about with that.
Right.
So I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah, we go on and on with that one, man.
Yes. So you say you Black Ownership.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one you said you had to re-release.
Yep. Yeah. I'm releasing that because I rushed it in 2023. The project wasn't rushed; it just was, the promote. I didn't know what I was doing as far as releasing any project. In my head, you just release it and hope people stream it and
Yeah.
buy it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I just took it. I took it down. Soon as once I now I didn't take it down right away, but once I start finding like building up my team, that's when I finalized it. Like I wasn't comfortable with me just being a team. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
a lot of that's overwhelming. Like bosses is not supposed to do everything in a company.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't want to. I gotta let me get things in order first. I'm not. Why would I be doing this, doing that, doing it? No, it's not supposed to work like that.
Yeah.
I got an idea of the business part. Let me see if somebody can match that or even know more because I always want to deal with somebody, especially
Right.
a part of my team that know more than me.
Right.
Once I found that, and it's a few people, I was comfortable. I'm like, all right, at least I'm starting off with something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's when I said I could take everything down, and we organized it. We
Yeah.
organized the release.
So like what you said, bosses are not meant to do everything. But I always tell people you got to know how to be an employee
Yeah,
before
yeah,
you can be the CEO.
absolutely.
Because if you're trying to build certain things, you got to let people know how to do it the way you do it.
We want to do it.
You know,
You
L
wanna-
Crock has a certain way he wants this stuff done. This is how I would do it.
Mhm.
Now, if you can enhance it, you can give me something different, make it better. Okay, cool. And that's a whole lot better than saying, oh man, you got it.
Exactly.
And then they give you something. He's like, bro, that's
Yeah.
nowhere close to
Mhm.
what I was looking at or trying to do.
Facts.
So
What I do to help, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No,
what
you
I do
good.
to help the potential members that's going to join the team, I always give them, like, if we don't do a virtual meeting, I
Mhm.
send them my background on me, and what I have planned, because I already be having my plans. Whether they done or, pre-planned in my head, I just ain't jot it down yet. So I
Yeah.
always show them my identity first. And that get them a better understand if they could add to that and make it better, learn along the way, or if it's overwhelming for them. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's like going to a job interview and they say, well, did you look up what we do and who we are? And you say yes or no.
Yes.
And
And,
then
a
you
lot
say,
of people
well,
don't do that.
Yeah, and it's like, well, let me give you a little bit more information. Well,
Right.
here at this company, we do X, Y, and Z, da, 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 da. This is our mission statement. They go on. And it's like, can you deal with that? Is this working here going to be okay for you?
Mhm.
And I mean, most people going to say, yeah, because they want that job regardless. Because,
Yeah,
You're looking for the job.
Right. They just
You
taking
want
money
a
though.
job. Right. It's a steady paycheck. I
Yeah.
mean, I can do whatever you need me to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so you have to. I'm not saying you have to, but it's good that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's to be honest with you, man, I think it's something that should be a to do. Me personally. I think it's definitely something that should definitely be a to do because that's you never want to blind. And the biggest thing with me is the unexpected, the unnecessary unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing with me. So I never want to like pull in. Things gonna pop up, but I don't want to have one of the people working with me. I tell them one thing, and this is how it's gonna be. But later on down the line, I'm like, no, it's supposed to be this way. I know that's how it's supposed to be, but you're supposed to improvise. I don't want to put that kind of pressure on people. Like, what?
Nah.
You know what I mean?
Nah.
Like certain systems can stay the same, but if something got to change, I want all of us to be involved in that change. Like,
And it makes sense
you know
because
what I mean?
you elevate as a team.
Absolutely.
And it's like they say, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And if that weak link just straggling, you got two choices.
Right.
Speed up or get left behind.
Exactly.
And I mean that's not with everything, but with a lot of stuff, it's like, listen, if we're moving collectively, like if we're all standing back to back and we're all taking over a front, we can't have one person like, hey bro, I gotta go take a break real quick.
Right.
We break together. Because we're gonna break bread together.
Exactly.
So we're gonna work together. And it's like you don't put in enough effort. Don't be mad because you don't get paid enough money compared to everybody else. Yeah, your percentage just went down.
Exactly. Yeah, that part.
You know what I'm saying? So, question from high school. Well, in high school, do you do any talent shows? None.
No talent.
You was just there watching the freestyle battles.
Yeah, they didn't have. I don't know. I know when I was going, they didn't have those kind of programs at the school, but it was stuff in the neighborhood I could have did. But no talent show. I think I did have one show. I can't remember what a basketball player was, but when I met this, because I think I was 13 or 14 when I met a producer down Southwest by the name of Jay Strong. I had a talent show for a basketball player that came out of 35th and Wild. That's the bottom of West Philly. And I opened up for him. But besides like, check it, I was writing gospel rap too. So I did a couple of church events at my grandmom's church. And that performance, that's the only 3 performances I remember ever doing. That's it.
That's
as
it.
a teenager, that was it. I'm like, man. And somebody asked me that one day. Somebody was like, I'm sorry, put this on. Somebody asked me, this was probably in like 2007. I was 17 at the time. An individual, he was a party promoter. He was like, where can I find your performances at? And I'm like, what? I can perform for you right now. He was like, no, I'm talking about your prior performances. I don't need you to perform right now. And I looked at Pop. Pop looked at me like, duh. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you want to get paid to perform, but you don't have any performances. And I was like, damn.
Yeah, because a lot of people, they want to see that you've already done something before they put you in a specific space. And it makes sense.
It make a lot of sense.
Because you say, oh, I'm a photographer. Well, where them pictures at?
Right.
You say, oh, I shoot music videos.
With a video.
With a video. You know what I'm saying?
I write music. Well, where's the songs?
Where the songs at? You writing them, but are you recording and releasing them?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it makes sense, though.
Exactly.
You don't. Sometimes you don't be thinking about that.
I wasn't thinking none of that.
That's like dealing with imposter syndrome.
Oh wow. That's a great, that's a great.
You know you can do
example
it.
Right there, yeah.
But, I mean, maybe people don't want to see this. Maybe I'm not that great. Maybe this, maybe that. But what if? And it's like, bruh, at some point you got to put something out.
Absolutely. And I used to be in my head like that. I used to be in my head like, man, I don't know if that's a good song to perform. So I wouldn't perform it. I think I blew a lot of opportunities. I know I did.
Oh,
Cause
you did.
I
I
blew
can tell
a
you
lot
did.
of them. I blew a lot of them. I used to get like invited to showcases, but I would have so many negative thoughts. I'm glad I broke the habit because I always used to think negative. Like it's a possibility this could happen, and it
Yeah.
like blocked so many doors for me, you know. So I remember this one opportunity that I had. This was I think it was like at a hall. I can't remember the hall name. Lancaster Hall. This was There used to be a nice hall. There used to be a bunch of parties, different activities going on there, different shows and stuff.
Yeah.
I got invited there to perform, and only people that came was my people, and I didn't perform. And I never forget my old head mean see me the next day, and he just said make it. He asked about the show, and he said who were the people come out with your show? I'm like, it wasn't successful. He was like, why you say that? I said, ain't nobody come. He said, anybody come for you, support you? I said, yeah. He said, so you should have performed. Why wouldn't you perform for your guests?
That's it.
And I was like, damn.
You already got your whole hype crowd.
Exactly.
You the only person in the.
Mhm.
Everybody else outside don't know they there with you.
And
'Cause,
people I was dealing with at the time, like they didn't even have that much common sense. Like, dog, they deserve a show. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was pouring down, raining, and all. So the promoters, like, that's probably why people ain't show up, but my people did. I had like 15 people there.
Yeah, you should have done it.
Yep. So
Yeah.
I blew a lot, but that one stuck with me for us. Stuck with me for life.
That's a stinger.
That was a
That's a
sting,
stinger.
man. That was a
Yeah.
sting. So it's beautiful to still have them same supporters now.
Yeah, I remember one of the first shows I did, there was nobody there but me, my camera guy, the guy that was getting on the stage with me, the DJ, the promoter at the door, and the bartender.
Mm.
I still got up there and performed like it was
Yes,
500
Lord.
people in that building.
Yes, Lord.
And I'm doing Christian hip hop and in a secular club. I mean, people stopped. They couldn't get in, they stopped. But you you never know what's gonna come from that.
Facts.
But I bet you'll never do it again.
Never. And when I be talking to a lot of these, because I attend a lot of artist showcases just to support.
Mhm.
So I'm there as a supporter. And I always talk to the artists, man, especially the younger artists. We was at where we was at Tone when he got so frustrated while he was performing, and he was just like, y'all sitting there like y'all don't like my shit hot, you know. His and hers showcase, and I said, oh no, you know what I mean?
Oh,
And I pulled him to the side because I'm like, yo, there's nothing wrong with loving yourself. That's number one. You have to be your own biggest fan first, but you can't force a crowd to like it. You can't force nobody to like it.
So you just answered my next question. And you can go a little bit deeper into that, but my next question was what seeds or like what do you want to tell people that want to be in this space as far as being a creative, regardless of what it is? And I mean, I don't know if you just answered it and that's what you want to stick with or if you want to go on, but I'm gonna leave that to you.
Yeah. I can elaborate one. The number one thing is you want to be real with yourself. You want to know who am I? You want to have an image.
Yeah.
You definitely want to have an image and you want to know what you're after. You can't be this artist and I'm a go do a club record because the club popping, or I'm gonna go do a street record because the street popping. You can't be that kind of artist to be all back and forth. Like one of the things that I was told to me, and this was from a fella my age, he said, Crock, what you don't want to do, you don't want to include too much of your personal life with your hip hop side of you. Is you can separate that. You can make as many pages as you want. You keep your hip hop, all your entertainment stuff, entertainment. So it's not confusing your fans. I can go here and see all his content. I can go here and see what he does with his personal life. I can go here to hear all his music. You know, so you wanna have a pattern of being organized and professional about your whole presence, everything that you do as an artist. But the number one thing, man, is your image, man. That's everything. That's your brand.
That's your brand.
You are your own brand.
That's your name. That's what people gonna see. That's what people gonna know you for. So I mean, it does make sense. Separate your personal page from your artistry page because again, when they start mixing, I don't really know what you do.
Right,
And I don't know if
right.
you take this rapping thing serious or
Mhm.
this art that you're doing serious. You know what I'm saying? So listen, man, this has been
Yes, Lord.
great.
Yes, Lord.
But listen, where can people find you? Let people know where they can find you.
Oh man, y'all can find me on Instagram at l.crock.official. Y'all can that's Instagram, and I believe it's Facebook is just L Crock. Y'all, I'm streaming on all the platforms. Like I said, we got a single that just dropped. It's streaming on all the major platforms. And you just type in L Crock. It's just the letter L too. Because a lot of people think EL. It's just the letter L.
Yeah, just the letter L.
And it's Crock with a K too.
So don't forget that.
That's it, man. YouTube as well, because we got a few videos out on our YouTube channel. Name spelled the same way. Yeah, man. That's the IG, Instagram, innovate. Or just Google me. Have fun with that. I does that from time to time. Like,
Yeah.
anything popping up on Google.
Right,
Yes,
right,
Lord.
right. Check it out.
Check me out, man. But this was an honor. It was a pleasure.
Yes.
This would have been worth the ride just for this, man.
All
So,
the way from Philly.
Yeah, all the way from Philly, man. I appreciate y'all having me. Atmosphere, like I said, I'm big on feelings. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So when I get
yeah.
a good feeling in the sanctuary, that's it. It's a wrap. Everything else is just smooth sailing. So
Yeah,
thank
it's
y'all,
real
man.
peaceful up in here though.
Yes,
That's how we try to
it's
keep it.
peaceful. The energy is amazing. The vibe, everything about this atmosphere feels amazing, man. So
Yeah, yeah.
to tilt my hat to y'all, brothers, man.
Hey, well, we appreciate it. We appreciate
Ain't
that
no
for
doubt.
real.
Ain't no doubt. I do got some merch for y'all. And shoot, we gotta get this. We gotta get this on. Hey, where Hank at? Hank,
Hank back there asleep.
yeah, what you got? You got
Hank.
some merch for what you
Hey
said?
y'all,
Large, extra large, man. We gotta bless him with some merch. I want to get a.
we trying to wrap up the podcast and Hank over here asleep, y'all. Listen, we're gonna go ahead and end this.
Yes,
and
Lord.
I'll just
Yes,
show
Lord.
y'all the shirts we got. But listen, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Creative Roots Podcast. And we look to see y'all on the next one.
Yes, Lord.
Peace.
Yes, Lord. Peace. This was beautiful.
Hey, real quick, just wanted to say thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Creative Roots Podcast. If you are a creative and you're interested in being a guest on this podcast, feel free to send a DM on Instagram or TikTok, and you can find us at creativeroots.podcast on both, Creative Roots Podcast on Facebook, and we look forward to talking to you soon.